All right, algebraic reasoning. We're going to do this review from Go Formative. You really want to follow along here because if you can be successful in this review, you'll definitely be successful on the test, okay? We're going to reintroduce Desmos that we've been talking about. Definitely since the beginning of the year, we had that link back in the materials section. And so you want to be clear on how to use it. And I've embedded it all throughout the review and the test. So like whenever you need a graphing calculator, it's right in there. You just gotta know how to use it. Okay, 1, number 2, number 7. So it's all in there. So let's do this, and we'll, I got the whiteboard off to the side here so we can make little notes along the way. All right, there we go. Identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Now, I wrote this already, but vertex is where there's a change in direction. It's the point at the change in direction, okay? So here's what we got to do first. First of all, we need to take this equation, plug it into our graphing calculator box here. So now you might try to copy paste it. It's not going to work. So you want to type it in here. So it's f parentheses x parentheses equals x. Now, all that so far is easy. I mean, doable. But how do we get that squared? Do not just put a 2. No. Okay. So see this little show keypad right here at the bottom left of your graphing calculator box? You click on that and you get options, and the a squared button, okay, on the top third over from the left, that is your squared button. Okay, now we're not done, but so far x squared that's good. Now the rest of this we can type in, no problem. Minus 8x. Now you could use these numbers, minus 8x plus 12. So if you want to use these buttons, that's great too. So make sure it matches perfectly, everything looks good. And now, when you click on this graph, you can drag it around and see, okay? Now this is very important, okay? Very important. Graph counts by 2. I can't, at least on mine. Now maybe on yours is different, okay? But I want you to check this out. If this is 10 right here, then that means this has to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? So I'll have some people think, wait, this is 2, -2. Where's that? And you got to think about it. So here's the deal. You can use your fingers to click on it and zoom in. Now, if you zoom in now, hey, that's looks a little different. Sorry, let me drag this a little bit more. Okay, cool. So does everyone see where that is? So now once you zoom in, you can see it's counting by ones. If you zoom in too far, hold on one second. If you zoom in too far, then you have too many lines, okay? So you gotta be real careful, okay? So there you go. Okay, now vertex we said is the change in direction. So where does this thing change direction? So this thing's going down, then it starts going up. So right around there, I got a change in direction. So that minimum, that bottom of the parabola is my vertex, and it says it's at, I click it. There it is, 4, -4. So I'm looking at my answers. Some of these have 4, -4. Great. Now the second part is axis of symmetry. Okay. So axis of symmetry. I'm sorry, my handwriting is bad on a laptop. But if you've got a parabola, that's not perfect. But the axis of symmetry looks like this, straight down the middle. It goes through that vertex, and it's x equals the x value, okay? So again, the axis of symmetry is x equals a number. And what's the x value of that vertex? So let's think about over here. Here's my parabola, here's my vertex. What's the x value of that vertex? 4, right? So that means that my, so for number 1, we said the vertex is 4, -4. And then our axis of symmetry is going to be always x equals, and what's the x value of that vertex? 4. So which answer choice? That's 4, -4 for my point, and x equals 4 for the axis of symmetry. That would be this fourth one right there. All right. So moving on here, identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. We're doing the exact same thing over here. So what we need to do is, once again, type this in. Okay, you got to get good at typing this. So again, you can just type f parentheses x parentheses equal sign minus sign x. And then remember, to get squared, click the little keyboard. Click on a squared. And then plus 4x minus sign 8. Okay. Now if you don't see it immediately, click on the graph, and then it showed up. Please remember, okay, look, if this is 10, that must be counting by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We need to zoom in a little bit, so if you can grab it, zoom in a little bit, there you go. Okay. So this vertex, this change of direction, you can see where it is, right? So let's write that down over here for number 2. Where's my change of direction? It goes up, it goes down, it changes direction right there at the top. If I click it, it'll give me the point 2, negative 4. That's my vertex, and it's specifically a maximum at the top. Okay. Okay, and then what's the axis of symmetry? So once again, I'm looking for that x equals, it's never y equals for the symmetry when we're talking about these parabolas, because they are symmetrical. You know, the vertical line is the symmetrical line. So what's the x value of that vertex? We have it here. It's also over here. It's going to be 2. So what's my best answer? 2, negative 4 for my vertex. And then x equals 2 for my axis of symmetry. That'd be the first answer choice right there. All right. Moving down. Now, this says we're going to match the graph with the maximum or minimum value. Okay. Well, remember max or min. Let's move this up. So if it's opening downward, we have a max. If it's opening upward, we have a min, right? That each of these are a vertex. Okay, so what's the vertex of number 3? Well, and this one doesn't, you can't click on it, but right there, oops. So right there, what is that point right there? Well, 1 to the left is negative 1, up 1 is positive 1. All right, so we know it's negative 1, positive 1. But what is it a min or a max? So this is at the bottom of a U shape, a U parabola. So if it's at the bottom, that's a minimum. Okay. So which one of these answer choices says it's minimum at negative 1, 1? Well, that would be this one. Okay. Let's do it again. Okay. Match the graph. Okay. Now this right here, number 4. Now that's at the top of a hill, right? So if you're at the top of a hill, that's a maximum. And the point is 3 to the left, 3 down. So that's negative 3, 3. So maximum at negative 3, negative 3 is my bad, because it went left and down. That's negative left, negative down. There you go. All right. Moving it down here on number 5. Is that a max or a min? What do you think? Top of a hill, so that is a max. And where is the vertex? Change the direction at the max, so that's 2 to the right, 1 up, positive 2, positive 1. So it is a max at 2, 1. Then right here, number 6. It's at the bottom of a U-shape parabola, so it's a minimum. And then what are the coordinates? Well, 2 to the right, 3 up. To the right, 2, 3 up is 3, 2, 3. So we get a minimum at 2, 3. All right. Okay, now this one's gonna be kind of like number 1 and 2. So I need to be good at typing this in. So let's type it in. Okay, I got my graphing calculator box here. I want to match which graph looks like this, so let's do that. F parentheses x parentheses equals x. I need the squared. I can't just put a 2. Okay, so I'm going to hit this little keyboard down here. It's going to pop up, and the third from the left on the top, a squared. That's how you get the little squared. It's 2. And then keep typing. Minus 10x plus sine 24. All right. Now I'm looking at this graph. I want to see which one matches down here. All right, so does that match the first one? Well, this one opens up, this one opens down. It's not the first one. The second one doesn't open up or down, and it opens left. That's not even a function, okay? So it's one of these two. So where does it cross the x-axis? Let's count. And by the way, notice it's counting by 2's again because here's 10. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So right here, let's click it, and let's click it. Hey, so we got 4, 0, 6, 0. And what do you know? One of these does it at 4 and at 6. It's even labeled right there. This one does not go through 4 and 6. It goes through -1 and +3. So the best answer is going to be C, I guess. I know they're not labeled, but you know, it goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Number 8, the graph of the quadratic function is shown on the grid. So here's our graph. Now we're going to work backwards on this one, okay? Which function best represents this graph? So now I have 4 functions, and I want to know which one matches this graph. So if you're working backwards, I would highly suggest, since I give you the, let me move that over. Since I'm giving you the graphing calculator box right here, let's just start plugging in some of these equations, okay? So let's do the first one. F of x equals x. Remember, squared, you go to the keyboard, there it is, minus 2x minus sine 4. All right, I just typed in the first equation. Now here's the question, does that match? Does it go through 0, 0? No. Okay, so it's not A, or it's not the first one. So on the second one, x squared plus 2x minus 4. Let's try, okay, all I did is change. So what about, now this is the second one, x squared plus 2x minus 4. All right, so let's compare these. They kind of look the same, but this is supposed to go through 0, 0. That doesn't go through 0, 0. It's not the second answer choice, okay? All right, let's try this next one. X squared minus 4x. So minus 4x. Okay. So they kind of look similar. 0, 0 is right here. Hey, 0, 0 is right there. It might be it. Let's look at the other x-intercept. This is -4 right here. I want you to notice -4 has nothing over right here. So though this is similar, it's not the third one. Now you would think, hey, I can just put the fourth one, right? Well, let's check it, okay? It's supposed to be x squared plus 4x. We're going to compare these, 0, 0, 0, 0, -4. And once again, these are counting by 2, so you might want to zoom in just a little bit. Hey, that does go through -4. You know, I can tell if I click it right there. Hey. So yeah, -4, 0, 0, 0. Goes down to -4. This goes down to -4. Okay, great. So this one matches. So sometimes you might have to work backwards when you're doing these, okay? Got 2 more. The graph of the quadratic function f. Oh, by the way, that was D, right? So let's write that down. Fourth answer choice. All right, number 9 though. The graph of the quadratic f was transformed to create the graph g of x equals f x minus 2 plus 5. Okay. So They want to know what's the transformations, okay? Now, let's see here. This number right here is horizontal. It's a shift in X, and it's a liar. Or the other way to think about it is its opposite, okay? You may have heard that before in Algebra 1, that insiders lie. Inside the parentheses, like right here, it's a liar. It's opposite. So again, while this insider is a liar, okay, here we go. While this insider is a liar, okay, this outsider is the vertical change. It's a vertical change. The shift in Y, which is up and down. Okay, and there ain't no lie. Why? All right. So when you're thinking horizontally, okay, if you think -2 horizontally, -2 you would normally think is left 2, but since it's a liar, right, we know that's really going to be right 2. Okay, so that's right 2. And then remember, this one over here is vertical up and down. So +5 means up 5. All right. So right 2, up 5, that's going to be the third answer choice for number 9. All right. And then last one, number 10. Okay. Now, this +5 is not an insider, right? So if it's not an insider, it's not inside the parentheses. This is vertical change. That means up 5. That's it. So the graph of G is a reflection? No. Second one, vertex of the graph of GX is 5 units up from the vertex of F. Yeah, 5 units up. That's good right there. Let's keep reading. Graph of G is a reflection? No. Last one, y-intercept of the graph is 5 units below the y-intercept? Not below. It goes 5 units up. Okay. So that's solid. Now, your test is very similar to this. Okay, it's not exactly literally the same, but it's very, very similar. Each question is very similar to each question on here. Okay, so what did we learn? What did we need to remember? You need to know how to type things in. You know where the squared button is when you type in these equations into the graphing calculator box here. That's where the squared button is, right? Type them in, and then remember, you can zoom in, zoom out. Make sure you got to, you're counting by ones. Vertex is where the direction changes. Axis of symmetry is x equals the x value. Okay, same thing down here. This is static, but it's the same idea. And then remember, max is at the top of a hill, and minimum is at the bottom of a hill, right? Which we learned right here on number 3, right? Okay, and then same with number 4, 5, and 6. 7's like number 1 and 2, okay? Except you're matching to graphs, right? And then again, this is number 8 is working backwards given the graph. So far you had graph the answer choices and match it up. And then we talked about transformations, all right? So that's your test, and this is your review. So finish this review, and test will be the next class, all right? Here we go.